Welcome back to the Potsmoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Potsmoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament. Today we are talking about the 12th part of the 26th chapter of the Potsmoker's Bible, which contains the 23rd chapter of the book of Zion. I'm in the middle of a dissertation, so I'm just going to take up where I left off. She, his brother's wife, was a moral test that he failed. We are given these tests. Anytime life offers you what you desire, you need to think that through. Because, like Kenny, you may be in a testing phase of your evolutionary path. Whenever we have to make a moral call, we are being asked by life, "Are you good?" When life asked him, "Are you good? Or do you want her?" Kenny chose not to be good. In the game of life, we are all on the path of ascension. Life is about evolution. Every life is trying to grow, survive, and pass on the knowledge gained. But this is a spiritual ascent, not a physical one. In this larger scale of life, each lifetime is a grade in school. And each grade level has tests that must be passed in order for the soul to evolve. Fail a test, and you have to retake the lesson. Fail the grade, and you die. It is better to die when you have failed so badly that to continue on would only cause you to fail more than to live on in a life that has failed to teach you the right lesson. We save lives, but by doing so, we damn the soul that has failed. The longer you commit a sin, the worse the cost to your soul. It's better for the body to die than for the soul to descend into its next lifetime, to descend into its next lifetime. Each moral test we take in physical life determines the course of the next evolution of the soul. If we fail, we go back to fix our mistakes. So every moral decision that we make in a lifetime is a life test that will determine where your soul will be in its next reincarnation. It will also determine the course of the remaining lifespan of the body you inhabit. If a soul can still learn its preset lessons, the events in your life will evolve to teach you the right moral answer, and you will be able to retake the test. I have lived this cycle. My choices in life took on a pattern. The events I faced always led me to the same place. I always had to decide some moral dilemma. Each time I chose the wrong answer, the cycle would reset. But when I found the right moral choice, my life changed. I was given a new question, a new moral issue to resolve. I finally saw the big picture. Life is a lesson. Your life path asks you moral questions. Your answers determine the course of your life. You evolve by gaining new questions to find the answers to. So, he failed his her question. His life path at that point went south, so to speak, or in the wrong direction. He wasn't trying to evolve. He didn't see the moral question. He didn't take the first step yet. The first step on the path of ascension. So his failure put his soul in a place of moral descent. With his amoral life, he was stuck spiritually. Two-thirds of the human population are so stuck. They have made the wrong moral choice, and they failed to see that it was a test. By not recognizing the moral aspect of life, these people have lost their spiritual path. Their moral choices have led them astray. During the normal course of life, we die when we fail the lessons that we were born to learn. Each life we live has a preset course. Before we are born, we decide what life lessons we have to learn. Our future life is chosen to provide us with the tests to be passed. Fail too many moral questions, and you die. Then you relive a similar life that has been tweaked to teach you the right answers. Life is a redo. Each life path we choose decides our greater fate. But until you realize that life is a test, you miss the point of the moral issue. So, in each lifetime, we stumble towards ascension. We try to learn the right moral answers. It's not until we pass these moral tests that our souls awaken. The first thing a soul needs to do in any given lifetime is to recognize the moral test, to be faced with a life lesson, and to recognize it as such. That is the first step of ascension. If you face a question that has moral importance, you are deciding your own fate with your answer. To know this is to ascend. He failed his wife covetousness test. He failed to understand that he was facing a life lesson test. So he went on forwardly in the way of his heart. He had given the wrong answer, but that was his choice to make. But I also had choices to make. I chose to ascend. I was faced with a moral test. I recognized its moral issues. I made the right choice. I gave the right answer, so I advanced. I chose to be a force for good. I chose to face the pain and overcome the damage others had done to me. I chose to do good deeds. I chose to devote my life to the cause of others. I chose to ascend. As I reached the end of my endurance, when suicide was the only answer I could conceive, I again chose to make the right decision. I chose to beg for mercy. I begged to die rather than to end my life. I tried to kill myself twice. The first time, the Gray stopped me by force. The second time, Kenny took control of my body to prevent the blade from cutting me. Each time I had failed my test to endure, but my obedience to the higher power let me pass the overall test and live. I am no longer faced with moral testing. I have found inner peace. My life is given to Zion. I know what to do to fulfill my prophecy. I am teaching it to you now. Very few humans reach the point in life where they have learned their life lessons and are still able to live, to enjoy it. Those few who have advanced completely are the sages and saints that lead others to the path of ascension. We have each struggled throughout not just the lessons that we were preset to learn, but we have gone on through projected lessons that were preset for future incarnations. All can ascend in a single life, but few try. Even fewer succeed. When I chose to kill myself rather than to descend or endure, I forced the Gray to act. Because Kenny was my soulmate, only he could safely occupy my body over an extended period of time, because our energy wavelengths matched. Only by necessity did the Gray use Kenny's against his will. What they, in essence, did was force Kenny back onto the path of ascension. I had gone as far as I could without him. The Gray had taken Kenny's vow of ownership of me as consent. He had pledged to me, so they felt justified for forcing him to keep his vow, a vow he had made of his own free will on my brother's wedding night. So they had reason to believe that he cared deeply for me, and that his vow was the reason for my suicide attempt. This, of course, made his refusal to do as they asked cause of contention between them. They had asked him to divorce her and save my life. He refused. So they did the next best thing. They forced him to live with the consequences of his decisions. He was linked to me mentally so that he would know my suffering due to that choice of his. As long as he chose to stay away from me physically, he would have to deal with it mentally. He caused my pain, so he was forced to endure it mentally. He didn't understand the ramifications of his choices. When he made me his vow of lifelong unity, that I would be his, he saved my life. When he chose to leave me in Louisiana, he condemned me to a life of pain. When he married her, he made my life a living hell. When I tried to kill myself, he became my torturer. But he never thought about what those choices of his forced on me. So, for the past 30 years, he has been forced to experience what his choices regarding me had done to me. He has had to make moral choices regarding my life, and each moral choice he has made has played out in my life, which he has witnessed through his dreams. But he has yet to realize the nature of this moral mental link. He hasn't yet taken the first step of ascension. He hasn't desired to advance spiritually. He is an ordinary man who loves and lives an ordinary life, but he leads a secret life in his mind, a life he has hated, a life he doesn't want to live, a life he doesn't understand. When he takes that first step and he chooses to correct his mistake, then he will seek the gray and do what is the morally correct answer. I only ask that he give me the same chance I gave him. I only ask, Kenny, be you dead or alive, will you go out with me? Just on a date. No expectations, no desired outcome other than, hey, I'm really attracted to you. So, um, let's see where this can go. That's all I have the right to ask. That's all anyone ever has the right to ask. 57:10. I have seen his ways, and will heal him. I will lead him also, and restore comforts to him, and to his mourners. I believe that this verse is talking about Kenny having cancer twice. He has healed the first time, but according to Mike, he died the second or third time? Too afraid to verify. Kenny is my one and only weakness. I'd rather believe him he's dead than know it for a fact. So according to Isaiah, Kenny should still be alive, having been healed by the gray. Once Kenny is healed, he has to have his comforts restored so that he wouldn't suffer or be unable to provide his mourners, or I believe a reference to Zion and our people's mourning because of the persecution. They are his mourners when he chooses Zion. But in light of recent events, perhaps COVID-19 is the mourning that is mentioned in this prophecy. So I'm going to stop there and we will take up where I left off next time. Until then, may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, teach you right from wrong, and keep you all from harm. May you be worthy of them. May your words, thoughts, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. May you always be happy and high. Know that I love you. Later. Because I'll never say goodbye.